please have the Regents review packet in front of you so I can go over some of the couple things that are in the first couple pages. And then I'll talk about how you are going to use Classroom here going forward for the remainder of the year. All right, we are done. We're done with all the topics for geometry. It's all Regents review here on out. It might be a good time for some of you to get, caught up on some of the homework you were absent for and never showed me. Maybe start making up those quizzes or tests that are just going to be zeros by the end of the quarter, all right? Because I'm not holding your hand. I am full on foot to the gas Regents review here on out. All right. If you've missed something, that's your call. All right. I'm not holding hands and being like, oh, when are you going to come in for this quiz? You'll just get a zero at the end of the quarter. All right. Pretty easy for me to put in. First page here of this Regents review. What this packet contains. It is a 6-day review. All right. Over the next 6 days, including today, we are going to go. They cover the topics that are most commonly asked on the Regents exam. Not all the topics. This won't get you to pass. This won't get you high 90s. This covers, I don't want to even put a percentage on it, but the most commonly asked topics on the Regents exam. We have a quiz at the end of this, which will be next Thursday, June 6th. Next Thursday, June 6th. That quiz will cover this packet. I am not going to put any other topics on from the year, but anything in this packet is fair game. And just so you know, it's only going to be multiple choice questions. 15 multiple choice, 30 points. That's all the quiz is going to be. And the reason why it's going to be just multiple choice, all right, I don't know if you guys have some type of goal, a score range you'd like to receive on this Regents exam. But if you're going to do well, you're going to have to perform well on the multiple choice. Forget about the free parts, the free response parts, 2, 3, and 4. You're going to have to do very well on part 1 if you want to do well on this. All right? So that's next Thursday. We'll have a 15-question multiple choice quiz. All right, let's keep going. Next page. First and last time I talk about this, here's the makeup of the Regents exam. It's got 4 parts. First part I just talked about. It's 24 multiple choice. If you want to do well on the exam, that's where you do well. All right, because think about it. It's 2 points apiece. It's right or wrong. So you get 5 wrong. That's 10 points off already. That's a 70 out of 80, whatever that is. And then parts 2, 3, and 4 are free response. Show your work. Probably in the years past, the part 4 is a big proof. All right, so expect that. Probably a big proof in part 4. And I'm sure part 2 or 3, it'll be a construction in there somewhere too. All right, but that's the makeup of the exam right there. It's Friday, June 21st. That's when our exam is in the morning. When I find out where it is and where you're sitting, I'll let you know, and you guys can fill that in. Okay, but at least I know it's Friday, the 21st. For you sophomores, that's a busy day because you'll have our exam in the morning, and I believe English is in the afternoon. So that's a busy day for you sophomores in the room. And if anybody takes Earth Science is the day before in the morning on Thursday. So that's a busy 2 days if you have those 3 classes. Materials. I'll just start letting you know now what I need you to bring. It's the same materials as the midterm. I will bring, you don't need a calculator, but I'll bring that. Obviously, I'll bring the calculator, make sure they're charged and everything. That's not on you. But everything else is. The test must be done in pen, including your bubble sheet. Not in red pen, not in hot magenta pink, but blue or black pens. All right, just like the midterm was. All right, must be done in pen. And if you need a compass for the exam, if you need a compass or a straight edge, just like the midterm, you owe me a review session and you can get that from me. Okay, so after school or one of my review sessions leading up to the exam, if you need one of those, you owe me a review session because I'm not going to give it to you the day of the exam without coming to a review session. All right, everyone good there? And then just a reminder at the bottom, this packet doesn't cover everything. Please keep that in mind. There's a lot more topics that'll be on there. All right, good there? Also, let me just talk about this point. Some of you have done very, very well this year. All right, your hard work has paid off. You have awesome averages, maybe in the 90s, some of you. The Regents exam doesn't care. Doesn't care. Okay, there is zero correlation between how you've done this year and how you perform on the Regents. All right, your grade on the Regents will reflect the effort you put in from now until June 21st. And the same thing in reverse too. If you haven't done so well this year, all right, for maybe different reasons, it's just geometry wasn't your thing, you've been lazy, you can still turn it around. Okay, you can still turn it around. And any of you guys banking on that beautiful curve, this curve that's supposed to save you, like it did in algebra, some of you, the curve's not that generous as it was in algebra. Okay, it's not, sorry. Okay, so for some of you guys, let's be honest here, hate to be that guy, but you guys that got like a 75, 76 on algebra last year, let's be real, you probably got in the 60s. And maybe didn't even pass. Okay, because the curve bumped you up that much. The geometry curve does not bump you up that much at all. Okay, so just a heads up there, you guys. Oh, yeah, last year I didn't do that well, but the curve gave me like an 80 something. Congratulations, good job. Geometry curve, not that generous. Okay, not that generous. All right, any questions before we get going here? Okay, so go to the end of the day one notes, which I believe is on page 2 for me. All right, so at the end of every notes, at the end of every day, all right, I got a little homework section down there. Got a little homework section. All right, you guys know though, not checking anymore. All right, that's for you. Just I want you to understand what the homework is, where to find it, where to find the answers. The homework problems I assign always review what I just did in class. So today we're doing partitions. We're doing equations of lines in class. So tonight's homework, you'll get those type of questions. Where are my answers to these, right? Where are the answers? That's why you have Classroom open. You're going to live on Classroom from now until the Regents exam. So if you go to our Classroom page, please go to classwork, not the stream. I'm not a big fan of the stream. Go to classwork. And right at the top, you don't even have to scroll down. Right at the top is Regents Review. Okay? Open that up for me. Previous Regents exams. Open that folder up for me under Regents Review, where it says previous Regents exams. You open that up, you will see every single geometry Regents that's been offered. All right, since it's been around. And as you guys can see, it's a ton. All right, there's a ton here. A ton of old Regents exams. Let me just open one folder and show you what is in every folder. So open up June 2023. It's the first one here. You will always see 3 things in every folder. You'll see a blank exam because those are the only 3 I'm printing out. You want to print out something else, that's on your own. You will see an answer key to every Regents. And if that's not good enough, I'll send you to some video solutions online. Okay, that some rando dude or woman does the solutions out and tells you how to do it on video. Okay, so that's what's on everyone. That is where you check your homework answers. If you're gonna participate in the homework, that's where you check them out. Okay, that is on every single Regents exam. I put that in every folder. At the end, if you go all the way down, just to show you, if you go all the way down, you will see this that says cold hard fact sheet. Everyone can see that. It says cold hard fact sheet. That is your reference sheet on steroids. All right, it's basically a little, I don't know how many pages, 10, 11 pages of everything we've done this year. You don't get this on the Regents, but if you're stuck, if you're studying with somebody or on your own and you're like, what was that circle fact again? There it is. It'll be there. Okay, this is all the facts that we've gone over this year. All right, so if you get stuck, you're reviewing on your own and I'm not around, that's where you can go to find any of the stuff we talked about this year. Okay? Questions there? And then the only other thing I want to show you here, actually 2 more on Classroom. You'll also see on Classroom formulas to know. I'm not going to print that out. All right, these are formulas not on the reference sheet that may come up on the exam. So if you want to print that out and start filling it in or fill it in electronically on Cami, go right ahead. All right, but these are all the formulas I think may come up that aren't on the reference sheet. And finally, some of you may not like this, but in class, I am never going to review a construction in class. Never. 2 reasons. 1, waste of time. And 2, I'm probably doing it for like 1 or 2 people. All right, that ask it. If you want to come in after school during a review session, absolutely, I'll sit down with you and do a construction. But as far as doing it up here in class, I'm not going to waste my time or your time. If you're doing it on your own, go to the help video right underneath for these. I've been promoting this all year long, and we made it even better for you. We made it even better. If you go to that YouTube page, all right, it's under Mrs. Linehan's name, who's another geometry teacher I work with here closely. Playlist. What we did was we created a playlist solely for constructions that'll be on the Regents exam. Okay? These are all the constructions that you are responsible for that could show up on the Regents exam. There's 13 of them. Okay, so if you forget how to do them, that's where they are. Go to the playlist, and these are the constructions we think you're going to have to need to know for the Regents exam. So they're there. All right, so I won't go over any of those in class, but for review purposes, I will if you come in. All right, before we get going, anything I can answer here? You thought it was intense during the year at times with me. You have not seen anything yet. Okay, I can't control what you do outside of class, but I can control what we do here for the first 40 minutes. All right, and it's going to be hardcore, foot to the gas pedal. No breaks here from now until the end of classes end, which is in 3 weeks from Thursday, I think. All right, we ready to roll? Ready to buckle up? Any questions at all? So live on Classroom. That's all. That's my best recommendation. Live on Classroom. It's got everything there for you. If I don't have it up there for you, ask. I'll try to get it for you. All right, let's roll. Here we go. Let's start us off here. Topics you probably will see. In case you guys didn't know, I have no advanced knowledge of what's on there. It's not like the midterm where I could say, make sure you look at this because I designed the midterm. I have zero. I don't see the Regents exam until you guys walk into the gym or the cafeteria that day. That's the first time I see it too. So I have no advanced knowledge. But you know, I have looked through the last 5 to 6 years of Regents exams and been like, there's some topics that always come up. And that's what's in your packet. That's what's in your packet right now. Starting with this topic right here, which is you'll at least see one, maybe two questions where they'll give you a two-dimensional figure that we've talked about. You're going to rotate it somehow. And after you keep rotating it, what 3D figure do I end up with that we just finished talking about in our volume surface area? So you look at question number 1. I got a rectangle up there. Okay? I'm going to rotate that sucker around side W. So side W going to stay right where it is. All right? So you're going to just hold on to side W and start whipping that thing around, that rectangle around. Which one of these 3D objects would I end up with? All right, there's always one of these every darn year. They ask these. Take a 2D figure and start rotating it. What do I end up with here? All right, so think about that. I'll ask somebody and then I'll show you visually if you can't picture it in your mind. All right. What are you thinking about here? I start whipping that thing around line W. What do I end up with here? Whoa, here we go. Zoli? I end up with a cylinder. That is correct. And you guys here, take a look. Want to see it visually? Here we go. Rotate a rectangle. There it is. Pretend this is side W right here. Ready? Woo. Everyone see the cylinder now. Okay, we see the cylinder. All right, good start. Let's go to this triangle now, number 2. And it looks like you're going to make sure you rotate it around the pole AD. So hold on to the pole, start whipping that triangle around. Which one of these figures that we talked about in the volume surface area would be formed? Rotate that triangle. All right, go ahead, rotate that triangle around. What do you think? What do I end up with here? What do I end up with here, Vinny? What do you think? I do end up with the cone. Everyone take a look. There's my triangle. There's the pole right there. Let's whip that thing around. Boom. There's my cone. All right, no issues there. Cone. All right, number 3. Now we got a vocabulary term that we need to review here. And it's not equilateral. But here's my equilateral triangle. And now where are you going to rotate it? Around its median. So let's talk about what a median is again. A median is a line segment that starts at one of the vertices. And anybody want to take it from here? Where do I draw it? To the opposite side. Not anywhere on the opposite side, but to medians. Medians go to vertex to, anybody remember that one? Midpoint. Yep. Vertex to midpoint. Okay. Vertex to midpoint. So that is where you're going to wrap it around now. So you hold on to this, start going around and around and around. What will it end up forming? I'm not trying to trick people here by giving you a third one. All right, what do I end up forming here? And please don't go off the previous example. Oh, I need something new. This is a totally new example all by itself. Where do I end up going, Henry? Still a cone, guys. Still a cone. Some of you might have circled pyramid because, oh, I haven't had pyramid yet. No, it's a cone. All right? Again, don't base it on the last two questions, please. It's still a cone when you rotate a triangle around. All right, questions there. Probably will see one of those on the Regents exam. Probably will. All right, here's a huge topic. Huge topic. I know I only have two questions, but this is a pretty big topic. Equations of lines. Okay, writing the equation of a line, specifically parallel perpendicular. So let's start there. Let's make a couple notes down below here. Two lines are parallel if slopes are blank. Let's fill in that blank first. Okay, two lines are parallel. There's my parallel symbol. Remember that one? Slopes are same, equal. So if I know two lines are parallel, their slopes are equal. All right, what if they're perpendicular now? Just replace parallel with perpendicular. Two lines are perpendicular. Remember my perpendicular symbol? Remember that one? Not the same, but negative reciprocals. Yep. And remember what that term means. You flip and change the sign of whatever it is. Flip and change the sign. Flip and change the sign. All right, let's try a couple out here. Let me do a basic one with you, number 4, which is, hey, I got a slope of a line is negative 1/3. What about the equation of a line that's perpendicular to it? So we just wrote down, if they're going to be perpendicular, the slope should be negative reciprocals. So my slope is negative 1/3. What should be this? Before we don't answer the question, just answer this. What should be the slope of the other line then? I'm not looking for choice 1, 2, 3, and 4. All I want to know from you is what should be the slope of my new line. They're perpendicular. Slope of this one's negative 1/3. What should be the slope of the other one before I answer the question? The other one should have a slope of what, Stella? Positive 3. Good. So I am looking for which one of these choices has a slope of positive 3. You can't answer that, right? You can't answer that question unless these 4 are all in y equals form. You can't just say, oh, I'm looking for a 3. It's got to be that one, choice 4. It's wrong. No. You can only tell me what the slope is if it's in y equals form. So go ahead, take your time. Some of you may be able to do this in your head, but I need each one of those into y equals form so I know which one has a slope of 3. Because it's not choice 4. It's not choice 4 just because it's got a 3 in front. It's not in y equals form. Got to be in y equals form before you tell me the slope. get y by itself each time. Which one would have a slope of positive 3? All right, here we go. When you have it here, Bailey, which one had a slope of positive 3 when you have it?
3.
Choice 3, yep. That one had a slope of 3. As we go through this 6-day review and beyond, I'm going to show you some calculator tricks. Tricks I didn't show you during the year because teaching an above average math class, you shouldn't need the tricks, but we may need them for the Regents exam. So here's the trick I'm going to show you. Using your calculator will tell you what the slope and y-intercept of a line is, no matter what form it is. All right, so if you go real quick, let me show you this trick. There is a drawback to this trick, but let me show you anyway. You go to Grapher. Okay, you go to Grapher. Type in our choice, our answer, number 3. Go ahead, type in, and you can just type it in as is. It does not need to be in y equals form. 9x minus 3, everyone knows how to get the y, alpha 3, equals 27. And maybe some of you guys know this trick already. Enter. Now, don't even graph it. Go over to these 3 dots over here. Go over to the 3 dots. So after you type it in any form, go over to the 3 dots and hit enter. And see where it says details. You hit enter for details, and it will tell you what the slope of that line is that you just typed in. Okay, so the slope of this line is 3, y-intercept -9. Drawback. Huge drawback. I wouldn't just rely on this. Here's why. If the slope is a fraction, let's say the slope is 1/3, it won't say 1/3. It'll say the decimal all out. So this will only give you it in decimal or whole number. It will not give you a fraction. Right? So that is the one drawback of using this trick I'm showing you, is the slope will be in decimal form. If you know what the decimal is as a fraction, fine. But if not, that's going to be a problem. Okay, so a little drawback there. Slope is never in fraction form. We all good? Okay, I'm moving on. Number 5. Don't even look at the multiple choice. Here's what I want to do with you on number 5. I want to do this problem like it's a part 2. No multiple choice where you have to show your work. So I want your help. Don't even look at the multiple choice. How do I write the equation of this line? And then I'll work the multiple choice on you. Okay, so let's pretend part 2. We're all done with the multiple choice. We go to this first question. Here it is. Write me an equation of a line parallel to that and passing through 1, 3. Reminder, there's 2 things I need from you. If you're going to write the equation of a line, there's always 2 things. You guys already know you need the slope. And what's the other thing I'm going to need? Y-intercept. Yep. So those are the 2 things you're going to need before you write the answer down. What's the slope and what's the y-intercept? Let's start with slope. You guys see, I had the word parallel there. Oh, that must mean their slopes are the same. So what is the slope of this line right there? That's your first job. What is the slope of -2x plus 3y equals -4? What is the slope of that line? And I can see some of you are using the trick I just showed, which is great. But you're going to see there's a drawback right away. And some of you guys are seeing it's giving you the slope as a decimal. So you either know what that decimal is as a fraction, or you have to go and solve for y on your own. Okay, because the decimal is not going to help. I don't want a decimal. I want the slope as a fraction or whole number. So all I'm looking for is what's the slope of this line here. I don't want it to be a fraction. I want it to be a fraction, not a decimal, please. So when you have the slope, let me know. When you have the slope there. Test when you have it. 2/3. 2/3. Good work. Good work. Some of you guys been snaking out there. Yep, slope's 2/3. Good work. There's one half of it down. Now the other half is how the heck do I get that y-intercept, kids? Right? How do I get that y-intercept? By the way, why did I just keep it 2/3? Why didn't I do the negative reciprocal? Test told me 2/3 and I just wrote it down. Why? Parallel, right? Same slope. All right, now how do I get the y-intercept? Here's where we got to do some review now. You get the y-intercept from the equation y equals mx plus b, because out of those four variables, which one's the y-intercept up there? Out of those four variables I just wrote down, which one's the y-intercept we need? Stellan? Y, m, x, or b? B. All right, so let's solve for b. What goes in for y and x? Point it goes through. That's why I need that point it goes through. So 3, your y. M is slope. That's what Tess just gave us, 2/3. X is the x coordinate, 1. And now you guys are solving for b. So multiply 2/3 times 1, move it over. Ooh, hopefully we're moving it over a little bit better than my first period class did. Remember, it's 2/3 times 1 plus b. What's your b here? Oh, what's your b value? B value, Dylan? 4/3. What's that? How you moving? Okay, here you go. Let's just make sure we're all on the same page here. I get 3 equals 2/3 plus b. How you moving the 2/3 over? Hey, everyone, we're not multiplying by the reciprocal, dividing by 2/3. Not 2/3 b, it's 2/3 plus b. So I need to move it over by subtracting it over. Yep. So what's it going to become, Dylan? 7/3. Yep. Good. Everyone see that? I got to subtract it over, not multiply or divide it over. All right, put the two together now. All right, if I didn't have any multiple choice to look at, it's a blank page, part 2. I'm writing my answers in, showing my work. What would be the equation of my line now? Put the two together. What's the equation of my line there, Simon? Y equals?
Y equals 2/3 x minus 7/3.
Where'd the minus come from?
Or plus 7.
It's plus, right? Positive. So 2/3 x plus 7/3. All right, that's what I would have you guys write. It is a multiple choice, though, and I will save you time here, all right, because I don't want to keep drowning this problem out. They're in a different form. So what you guys would need to do is go through each one, distribute, and then move the number over. Distribute, move the number over, and see which one gives you 2/3 x plus 7/3. I'm going to make this quick because I want to get on to partitions, our last topic. It would end up being choice 2. Okay, choice 2. Whoa, wait a second. It was very important to me that you knew how to do that by hand, because I can definitely see this coming up in a part 2 question. All right, in a month. But this was multiple choice. All right, if this came up in the multiple choice section of our exam, how could I just use this to figure out the answer quickly? Can you guys graph the original one I gave you? Graph one of the choices. What's parallel mean? When you look at it, they should never what? Intersect, right? 3 of them will, number 2 won't. Okay, so keep that in mind. There's ways around it without doing it by hand if it's multiple choice. Everyone see what I mean? Graph 2x, negative 2x plus 3y equals negative 4. Graph it. Graph number 1, they're going to intersect. That's not parallel in my book. Graph number 2, they won't intersect. Graph 3 and 4, they will. Okay, so there are ways around it. Questions before we get to partitions and finish it up? All right. Again, I don't have any knowledge of any of the questions that are going to be on here, but you know what? If I had to put serious money down on a topic, it would definitely be partitions, without a doubt. I could see partitions coming on there. Just we got to remember how to do these darn things. All right, so you see A and B. What's point P? So I put it into a ratio of 2 to 3. 2 to 3. Everyone see what it says in those brackets? The set of axes below is optional. Not for my students, it's not. Never is it optional. You graph it. Graph it, please. All right, never optional in here with me. And I'll show you why at the end it's never optional. If the question does not have graph with it, the back of your exam will. Your back of your exam comes with a formula sheet and scrap graph paper. Use it, all right, if it's not provided to you in the question. All right, let's go through this. We're breaking it up into a ratio of 2 to 3, which means 2 congruent pieces to the left, 3 congruent pieces to the right of this point. How many congruent pieces of total? How many congruent pieces total? 5, thank you. So 5 congruent parts we're breaking AB up into. We do this process twice. We do it once for the x coordinate, and we do it for the y coordinate. Same process, probably just different numbers to work with. All right, it's a 3-step process. Step 1, what's the distance between the x coordinates? You can look at it, it's negative 6 to 4, or you can count it on the graph. What is the distance between your x coordinates? That's what I need first before I cut it up. What's the distance between the x coordinates? Jonathan? How are you getting 8? It's negative 6 to 4, right? I'm going from negative 6 over to 4. How many units am I going on the x-axis? 10. There we go. So I'm going 10. Everyone agrees? And everyone just spout it up. You're cutting it into 5 equal parts. Then cut it into 5 equal parts. 10 units cut up into 5 equal parts gives me 2. That 2 means every time I go 2 units, I'm cutting it up. 2 units, cutting it up. 2 units, cutting it up. But how many times do I need to go 2 units to get to that point P? Look at the ratio. What's the first number in the ratio? 2. So that means you go 2 units 2 times. 2 units and another 2 units. So that's what I'm showing right now. I'm taking that 2 and moving twice, going that amount. So that tells me I'm going 4 total units from wherever I started from. That's not where I end up. That's how many units I move from the start. All right, where did I start on the x-axis again? Look at your graph or the coordinates. Where did I start on the x-axis? X-axis, not the point. Where did I start on the x-axis, Shara? Negative 6. So I'm going to go from negative 6 over 4 units. That's where I use that 4. Where do I end up on the x-axis? At negative 2. Halfway done. Halfway done. Now let's do the same thing for the y coordinates. Count them or do the math. What's the distance between the y coordinates now? Distance between my y coordinates, Lily? 5, good. All right, instead of a 10, it was a 5. I still cut it into 5 equal parts. instead of going 2 units every time, now you go 1 unit. And here's the great part. You use the same number in the ratio both times. I use that first number again, which is 2. So how many times am I going to go 1 unit? Twice. I always use that first number in the ratio. Whatever that first number is, that's how many times I go. So instead of going 4 total units, we're going to go 2 total units from the start. And where was the start again? What y coordinate did I start on? Y coordinate, Lily, back to you.
Oh, -5.
Great job, -5. So from -5, I go up 2. And that should be my point. Remember, none of my students, it's optional. That's why. You better make sure -2, -3 is on that line segment you just graphed. If it's off the line segment, we did something wrong. -2, -3, yep. And not only that, go back to your ratio, 2 to 3. The left side should look a little smaller than the right side. 2 to 3. Okay, finish up that next one for me. I'm just going to write the answer up on the board here. Try that one out on your own. A ratio of 2 to 1. Always use the first, so everyone should be using the 2 here, multiplying everything by 2.